Hello, welcome to another General 0 Hour replay. Here we have a 3v3 on Massive Attack. This has been a popular map for the group lately. Let's look at the teams. On one team we have Rob, China Vanilla. Next to him, Skippy, China Vanilla. Down here, Neo, USA Air Force. Up here, top right corner of the map is going to be Pcap, GLA Demo, starting with the barracks. Next to him is Jack, USA Super Weapon, and Pancake up top with USA Laser. This map always reminds me of a game of dodgeball. Everyone starts out on their opposing sides and then rushes into the middle to collect as many of these cannons, capture as many of these buildings as they can. And in addition to these, there's oils. There's plenty of buildings to be garrisoned, but there's also some crates with money in them. In the middle of each road, down there at the bottom, those crates have 3,000 in them. Crate right there in the middle. Looks like Jack. Skippy will be there soon. That one has somewhere in the $1,000 to $3,000 range. And then down in the corners, lots of resources down in the corners. Neo's first decision was to build barracks, garrison this front building, start in on a fire base. Skippy and Jack are going to be meeting up here in the middle. Very soon Skippy's going to see that EMP missile launcher and must not have seen it or didn't see it soon enough. Those EMP missile systems will disable units, and so that dozer's not going to be able to get away. Looks like Jack's going to have the initial advantage. Meanwhile, Pancake and Rob have both activated those Crusaders. Yes. There's little Crusader traps on these roads down here on the side. As soon as you drive over them, a couple of Crusader tanks pop up. Now they're using those to vie for position. Over here on this side, Neo got the jump on Paul. Paul has activated his two Crusaders. They are confused. They are not sure what to do, and they're getting fired on. So Joe's going to have this choke point right here between his and Paul's base. Paul did slip by with a couple of workers, building some defenses in the corner. Up here on this side, Rob already with supplies. And a barracks and building defenses. Pcap gonna just bypass Neo entirely. So we can pretty well see the lines of scrimmage that have been established here. Rob controlling the far top. Neo and Pcap still fighting for that bottom spot, but Neo really looking like he has the advantage here. And then Skippy and Jack set up next to each other. And now that I'm looking, it looks like Pancake was able to keep his barracks on this top side. And a couple of garrison buildings staring across from each other. The crates have been picked up. There's also a crate worth $1,000 in front of each one of these oil refineries. And Pcap with a big group coming in. Must have a tunnel right in front of his base. That bunker just tons of hit points. I don't know if Pcap realizes that dozer was right there. Meanwhile, Pancake, nothing to stop him from coming over here and ruining Rob's day, taking out these trucks. Rob has defenses nearby. And those will be strong against these Crusaders. Now Jack and Pancake are on the same team. They've solidified this top of the middle. Neo and Skippy are on the same team. They're going to share the opposite side from each other. Pcap still has that tunnel right there. And after bringing in all those troops through the tunnel, it looks like Neo will be able to keep the corner. Those troops are going to get hurt running over this. Yep, Pcap had refocused. He stopped focusing on the corner so much, he decided to use that tunnel. Realizes nobody sees it. See what kind of mischief he can work up here. Thinking about garrisoning a bunker. In Neo's base. 3 units, take your pick of what to do. Those Chinooks are 1,000 each, so as soon as one goes down, it is a pretty sizable advantage. Not only do you lose the Chinook, you lose the resources it would have gathered for you in that time. But Pcap, seeing that Neo already has his King Raptors up in the air, wants to take out this airfield if he can first. Oh, one strike is not enough to take out that quad cannon. Now Rob, being called to action, called to help against Pcap, sending some troops down, but realizes if they go down there one at a time, they're just going to get picked off one at a time, so going to regroup. But that time that it takes to regroup is going to mean more pain for Neo's base. Not crippling by any means, since Neo does have this corner of the map, and there are tons of resources down there. An oil that he's captured, another one waiting to be captured, 3 supply docks. Here, Rob brings his forces in. Should be able to take out that quad cannon, but man, when it's fully upgraded, it's pretty powerful. Meanwhile, Rob's got a line of troops. Maybe they were sent to Neo's base as well, but stopped on the way. It's a long ways away. So what's left of Neo's base still has the command center, still has that supply. No Chinooks up there. Let's look at resources. Rob, being called to help, has a little bit of extra resources. His mine's in a couple places at once. And Neo looks like, despite how many resources are available to him, hasn't put anything on these resources yet. Still trying to put up solid defenses so that no one can take him out down there. But in the time that it took to take out Pcap's army, another one has arrived, and I don't think they know that that tunnel is there yet. It's just far enough away from that front line. Jack, starting to build a little army. Skippy, solidifying his defenses. It looks like Pcap's going for Skippy's base this time. Maybe feeling like he did enough damage to Neo's base over there. Wants to be able to cripple their offensive input early. Jack's still amassing troops and initiates bombardment. There's some oils back here that haven't been captured yet. Same on this side. Jack had some Avengers. Maybe they got too close to the Gatling cannon. The Avengers are specialists at taking out missiles, which would have been coming from that garrison. But the garrison plus the Gatling cannon maybe were what was able to destroy that army. So this time we have 3 armies coming against Pcap's invasion here. Some troops from Neo from the south, Rob bringing in tanks and planes from the north, and Skippy doing anything he can, bringing in helicopters. And so Paul being very distracting for the 3 players on the south side. Every incursion that Pcap makes into their base is just a little bit, it's going to be a little slower for them on their base builds. They might make some mental errors, forget to capture some oils. It's disorienting having someone constantly coming in your base. And there's that a beacon. Yep, Neo finally found the tunnel. It's been beaconed. But now Pcap has a group of ambush rebels. Just 2 of them. But again, it's a distraction. Pancake looking a little vulnerable up here. I think if Rob were to push in his direction, he might gain more ground than he thinks he would. So Pancake electing to set up his line of defenses down the hill instead of on top. You can see some skeleton bases on this map sometimes because you tend to build your base in 2 or 3 different places at once, and so these back bases aren't always where all the buildings are. Pcap taking this opportunity, loading up the tunnel again. Meanwhile, Neo, solid defenses up and down this stretch in front of this corner. Does he have supplies up? No. He's got 1. He's got 3 Chinooks collecting there, nothing on the other 2 yet. Again, might be from the distractions of Pcap constantly showing up out of nowhere. And there Jack has tomahawks and microwave tanks. He's going to just outspace Skippy in the middle. And we'll see how long it takes Skippy to realize that he's being attacked in this way. Those Gatling cannons will shoot those tomahawk missiles out of the sky, if they're close enough. That might have been an accident. That might have been a missed input, actually. I think maybe Jack envisioned his tomahawks coming over here and attacking the Gatling cannon. And Rob's army looking pretty impressive now. I think on this north side, Rob is taking advantage of just the 1 supply dock. Oh, that is captured. He did capture that GLA supply stash, but not using it. There's the nuke. So Rob looking like he has a pretty impressive army. He's mixing it up with airplanes as well.
What's the mission, sir? Let's get to work.
That reinforcement pad is giving him battle masters. So he's able to chase down Pcap's army and send him back into the tunnel. And I would guess, eradicate the tunnel.
What's the mission, sir?
Okay, Jack's gonna give it another go this time. Tomahawks are gonna drive to this side of the bridge, guys. Come on.
What's the mission, sir?
Yep, the tunnel's finally off the map. So we'll see how Pcap's strategy changes at this point, because it seems like before he was utilizing that. That was his main strategy, to get in their bases, destroy as much offensive input as he could, slow them down, give his 2 teammates a chance to solidify in that absence. So Pancake creating a really impressive line of defenses there. His laser turrets, those are very strong defenses. And I do see one Infernal Cannon. Those will outspace the laser turrets. Doesn't matter how strong they are if they can't reach what's firing at them, but Rob's in a few different places at once in this game. He's gonna go right up the middle and help out Skippy, who was getting harassed by these tomahawks. Those tank hunters would have been pretty strong against them, but maybe Skippy didn't quite realize they were there. So, man, Jack having a lot of success with all of these infantry against Skippy's infantry and Rob's tank assault. That one Infernal Cannon can do quite a bit of damage to that group of infantry. If Jack doesn't move them around fast enough, they'll be cleared out quick, but they did a ton of work for him already. So, it looked like Neo was amassing an army, but nope, that's a huge line of defenses. Just in case Pcap gets into any ideas with any more tunnels. And Pancake, really going coast to coast here with these laser turrets. Couple crates in the middle haven't been captured yet. And again, like at the beginning of the game, another dozer taken out by that EMP missile launcher, but now Skippy has the answer. Okay, Tomahawks versus Nuke Cannon. I'm guessing the Tomahawks will get there first, but one blast. Nope. Nuke Cannon didn't fire on the Tomahawks, it fired a second time on that EMP cannon. And Jack still looks strong in the middle. Rob still has a good output of tanks. He's got a good offensive output right now, even though his first army was decimated by Jack's army. Strong army over here in the north as well. That supply dock is empty. That one's being worked on. This one hasn't been gotten to yet. There's a chance that Rob is actually holding off on those so that he still has strong economy into the mid and late game. But it's also entirely possible that there's just a lot going on. Finally destroys that building. That'll be helpful if they make a push that direction. The interesting thing about this map is that sometimes you're right across from each other and you push to the side, but then, if you realize it too, sometimes there's nothing between you and going to the north all the way to their original bases too, so sometimes you can just bypass all of these defenses in the middle and head right to their base. This is a map of choke points, but it's a map of a lot of choke points. Jack having a lot of success with these missile defenders and with those Avengers, but those Avengers are expensive troops, and Rob finally really got the correct grouping of units to take them out fast. And maybe that EMP missile launcher is what did so much damage to his army that first time. I'm feeling that might have been what it was just off screen. Because those overlords are expensive as well, and I'm sure it hurts to see them go down like that. Okay. They don't have to hit the EMC tank to disable it, they just have to hit the area around it. And there goes two more disabled, but these Infernal Cannons are working. If you can keep that overlord away from the disabling blast, Looks like he's trying to run over that microwave tank. Finally gets it. Overlord has plenty of hit points. He'll be able to use the other one. And the Inferno Cannon to take out that second one. Man, those missiles just gave Rob and Skippy nightmares there in the middle. Skippy making his own army of Overlords as well. Pcap's been working on something back here. Scudded the Storm and a bunch of black markets. That's going to pay dividends for him later in the game. I think we've been looking at his economy for a good long time. What's Rob got going on? Plenty of economy. Hard to use it all. In Neo, Jack has tons of economy. What does his base do? I don't see any supply drops. There they are, they're in the back. He did capture, I think, a couple oils on either side. And has another in the middle there. That nuke, I was going to say, that nuke from Rob's been on the board for a long time. I don't know if he's used it yet and I just didn't notice. Somehow, Pcap wasn't just making black markets, he made another tunnel in the exact same spot that he did last time. Maybe being cheeky with that. Neo. Tons of defenses. Avengers. Just in case Paul brings in buggies. And this is looking like deja vu, except this time it's Skippy's army instead of Rob's army. Pcap's selling it. That way he can save the money. Save them from getting just one more general's point from it. Here it is. Here's... That's unfortunate for Pancake. There they come back online. They're going to do some damage, but not for very long. Rob's bringing in that second army that he was harboring for a good portion of the game, just slowly building up. He's found a choke point that he can roll right through. He's going to take this oil off the map so no one can recapture it. Pancake must have had power plants up front that Rob was able to take out. Now taking out those as well, it's gonna take a lot of destruction for those laser turrets to come back online. He's just gonna bypass them completely. Doesn't need to take them out. He's looking for production buildings, he's looking for economy buildings. Now Jack did have a bunch of strong armies in the middle. He might have been able to bring it right backwards to help out, but it's going to be Pcap who brings his army up to mix in with there and see how many of these troops he can take out. Jack with a lot in the middle, but must be focusing somewhere else. Two overlords survive that engagement, and just two overlords can be enough sometimes. You don't need too many more than just two. That'll help. That army from Jack and Pcap are going to be able to take them down. So, Rob making good inroads into the base, comes in with his second round of his army. However, they're getting there kind of one at a time and spaced out. It looks like the advantage is going to be with Pcap and Jack on this, since they're already grouped together. Rob's army's just running in there one at a time. Those Inferno cannons in the back, I'm sure he was envisioning them being protected by that front line, but now they're the only ones left. It might be too late to retreat at this point and try and save them. Skippy found a way across as well. So it's really looking like advantage is going to that bottom team, especially with there's not much you can do in this direction, and even if you get past that, there's not much you can do in this direction. So the bottom of the map is bunkered off by Neo. The top of the map is being conquered by combined force of Skippy and Rob. Pcap now with more black markets than he can use, it looks like. Same thing going on with Jack, so it's looking like the bottom team, well, Rob's got the same issue. But somewhat, the bottom team is using their resources pretty well. Top team floating a lot of resources. This is an easy map to float resources on. Anytime you have to focus in on 3-4 different parts of the map at one time, your focus is divided. You're just trying to get economy on the board, trying to get units on the board. It's hard to do everything at once. Rob protecting against airstrikes now. Found a place to build his hackers. So, Skippy still has his line of overlords here on this side of the map. Not the side that Pancake wants on, but he is going to run him up against a line of laser defense turrets. And unfortunately they were focused in on one infantry unit, and so down go 3 of those overlords. And it looks as if numbers 4, 5, and 6 are going to be following shortly. Yeah, the back ones just get stuck on the ones in front, and then they all go in a single file line. For a while, Skippy was holding them back, trying to see what else he could destroy in the middle of the map. Maybe he got tired of that or decided it would be better to just push onward, but holy cow. Pancake now with the line of defenses. Gonna be going down if Neo keeps taking out power. That would be helpful, as it looks like Rob's bringing in another round. Pcap has a couple of pretty large armies sitting on the sideline. I wondered if he was getting ready to use a tunnel in the back of their base. Pancake gave up. Pancake ceded for the night. I wonder if he was just tired tired for the night, and holy cow. So I was talking about having to watch 2 or 3 different places on the map. Pcap now with the responsibility for all of it. That's going to be a lot to think about. That's going to be a whole lot of resources to manage. Oh my goodness. That's going to be so much to have to think about at once. Let's see how he multitasks here with Rob, bringing in yet another army. The laser turrets are down. I gotta believe task number 1 for Pcap might be getting them up as soon as possible, but you know, he was just handed an entire base and an entire army, and who knows what his brain's on right now. This would be a huge win for Rob if he could get his tanks to stop worrying about those infantry. Fire on those deadly laser turrets that Pcap wants to get back online as soon as possible. There they come. Just perfect timing getting them back on. But this line of overlords is having quite a bit better success with them already, even. They're not coming in one at a time, they're spaced out in a line. They're doing better, but again distracted by those infantry. I wonder if that's on purpose. I wonder if Pcap saw that and did that on purpose. So Rob is bringing him something a little bit faster. Yep, this army can move. Gatling cannons, Gatling tanks, overlords. Pcap got his laser turrets back online. Now they're down again. I wonder if Neo is sending in Aurora bombers over the top and I'm just not seeing them. It looks like they're coming in. So this engagement is going to say a lot what happens next, because I don't think Pcap can rely on those laser turrets. Yep, he got him back on. We'll see for how long. Maybe Rob's just destroying enough that power was able to come back on. But GLA against a China army, it's going to be about not letting those overlords take him down. It's going to be about not getting spaced out by those inferno cannons. GLA's forces are going to have less hit points overall, especially with those overlords in the mix, compared to overlords or even battle masters. And Pcap doing everything he can, but here's the main group of Rob's forces that are left, that are on this side of the map, and he decides to just run away from that army and go destroy what he can while it's still there. So the South with complete advantage at this point. Even though Rob's army is going down now, Skippy is bringing in a second round right up the middle. And none of Pancake's original laser turrets are left there. Skippy does like to bring those new cannons in with his army. It brings it up a lot slower that way, but as long as you're patient, those can take out 2-3 units at a time with just one shot, so. But then again, they can also get taken out. If they're in the front line, they go down really fast as well. So what is Jack working on at this point? He does have those EMP missiles. Those are very powerful. They're going to be really good against overlords with how slow they are. And they're fewer and farther between as opposed to a large group of buggies or a large group of anything else. He's probably thinking about Rob bringing in those overlords, wants to find something that's strong against them. His base did not have that much damage done to it. He's got a lot of money. I don't see that. War factory. There's something coming out of it now. Neo, this is insane. I don't think Pcap is going to make it through there anytime soon. So this is interesting. A few new cannons that are at the front of the line. Exposed, but they must just be outside of the range of what Pcap can see. And similarly, Skippy must not be able to see that group of infantry gathering right there. I guess that's Jack, not Pcap, if I'm not mistaken. So, wowzers.
Buckle up.
There they go. Tons of resources, tons of power plants. What is Neo focused on? The Scud Storm. Pcap was about 40 seconds away from being able to drop it somewhere. And I believe all of those Aurora bombers are going to be shot down on the way back. I think that was 6 of them. But something tells me Neo's not too worried about money right now. I don't think he cares. And yet he's making even more supply drop zones. And some in the back. A line of helicopters just in case Paul does put that tunnel down in the back. Skippy putting mines on his buildings, why not? He has plenty of money as well. Okay. Am I seeing it? Yep. The first land army from Neo, moving right up the middle. Skippy still has all 3 of those new cannons. They've not been targeted yet. We'll see if they can. Oh, those would be perfect against those EMP missile launchers, and devastating for Jack. That is the perfect. Dang! How did he get in range? Neo's army just stopping in the middle there. Thought maybe they were getting bunched up, but that's all the farther he wants to bring them for now. Rob really slowed down his production as well on units. Pcap found a place to put his tunnel. Yep. Now we're seeing what Pcap's been working on for the last 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see how far he gets with it. Tunnel's down. Neo picks it off. But that's a good sizable army. So Pcap taking out most of the attackers is going to put his focus on that internet center, wants to take out the economy while he's here. Probably knows his army's not going to go too much further, just wants to take out as much economy from Rob as he can. But all three of the players on the bottom are just spending everything they have on general's points to take this army down. And somehow they're being resilient, somehow, even with everything that's around them. Man, it took a long time to take them down. So this group looks a little unprotected. I'm seeing Avengers, I'm seeing Tomahawks, and the Avengers will protect from missiles. Neo's hoping from those EMP missiles, but if Pcap does have any army nearby, this whole group is probably going to go down pretty quick. But Neo's not driving towards Pcap's side. I guess Pcap owns everything. He's not driving towards the GLA side, which is where the bulk of where Pcap's armies are coming from. Man. Yes, I underestimated those Avengers when they're in groups. It just takes 4 or 5 of them and they can really do a lot of work there. Here's that GLA army that I was thinking of. Marauders, quad cannons, none of that. Avengers aren't going to stop any of those bullets. Those Tomahawks are freed up to take out all of them trying to make their way in. So the Avengers are gone, but a lot of damage has been done to Pcap's army. Ooh. There's the rest of it. There goes the rest of the army. Holy cow. That's an exact mirror of the army that Neo brought in, except with a couple of Humvees as well. Oh, another nuke. Any momentum that Pcap tries to gain is just instantly squashed. Tons of money. Tons of black markets. We got a laser over there. I wonder where the army went. That must have been, they must have all just destroyed each other. I think the buggies were able to take out the Tomahawks. I think the nukes were able to take out the buggies. Jack probably finished off the last of the Tomahawks. But again, advantage is all for the guys on the left, because while Pcap and Jack are just defending, and even successfully defending, by the time that they destroy one army, the next one's just coming right in. Skippy, the only one without a ton of money being floated around. Is it because he's using it well, or Does he not have much for resources? I don't see any hackers. There's an oil.
Lasers online.
Those are Skippies. So he does have some hackers going, but the supply docks are dried out.
Tactical lasers online.
Neo, on the other hand, plenty comfortable with money. So much so he doesn't care that those crates are sitting there. He probably has a bunch of crates sitting here, too. No need to pick them up.
Tactical lasers online.
Just piling up. We're good. I do wonder what their strategy is now. Looks like Neo just wants to strike with a bunch of Auroras. I think he has fun with that. Where are they going? They must be defending. Pcap must have brought in another tunnel and I didn't even notice. Rob's building another China army. So now Neo is sending Auroras to every corner of the map to defend. Skippy creating more overlords, and Rob with China army as well. Pcap's starting to push. Probably figures, alright, the other guys aren't moving much, might as well, but those tomahawks are having a lot of success. Again, this is a map with a lot of choke points. There's a ton of them, but no matter where you go, your units are kind of going to be going in a line. And Pcap, yep, able to get off that one Scud launcher. Holy cow, was that 6? Was that 6 tomahawks? Just a massive splash range on that explosion from the Scud launcher. But with 2 Avengers now, I don't think they're going to do any more damage there. I was kind of wondering if Skippy and Rob might coordinate their attacks, see if they can get in further this time, but it looks like each of them is doing their own thing. Unfortunately for Skippy's overlords, they are running into another EMP missile launcher, but there's only one of them this time. Skippy has enough overlords to keep on marching up to it. Jack still was just the one war factory. Might have liked to have seen a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 more of those. Couldn't find the cannon. I'm not sure what Rob's goal right now is. He's had that army for a good long time. Has lots of resources, so I'm not sure what he's working on. There's what he was working on. There it is. I thought there might be a project somewhere. Pcap made lots of black markets. No defenses back there to stop an ambush or somebody from capturing them, though. Even with that, though, he's still got plenty more. Lots more back here in the back of his base. So lots of black markets. Kind of same with Jack. I think a few more arms dealers might have been helpful. He does have 4. Okay, so he does have 4 arms dealers going. Looking over here at Pancake's old base, he's got another one. Oh, there's 2 more right there. Okay, so Pcap's got tons of arms dealers up. It's just hard to spend all that money when you're gifted a second base halfway through the game. I wonder if fatigue is just starting to set in for these players. Oh, gracious. That army was sitting for 10 minutes back in that corner, and now when they finally come up to attack, just blasted. However, 8 overlords and 2 inferno cannons and 2 battle masters is nothing Nothing to scoff at. They still have plenty of firepower left, but man, just seeing one big green blob turn into just a remnant of what it was. So probably all the players are getting tired at this point, even the ones on the bottom, even the ones who are winning. It can be tiresome to push into somebody else's base over and over and over again and have some success just to be destroyed, not quite accomplish as much as you would have wanted to. Two overlords can't decide what they want to shoot. Pcap takes care of that army. Now having to take care of another army coming from the other side of the map. Just constantly. Again, the same kind of scenario. Those Avengers don't help against this GLA army, but the Tomahawks sure have a lot of success. Something just blasted half of them away.
Let's kick up some dirt.
I'm looking for a Scud launcher nearby. I was thinking maybe that's what kept on launching missiles into the middle of that group of Tomahawks. There's the uplink cannon. Taking out a couple more buildings. Oh, don't drive your troops in there, Jack. There you go. He turns around at the last second. But then he gets nuked. This. Wow. Tons of super weapons being traded back and forth. Tons of generals points, and still, now this is interesting. Where are all the armies from the south side? Where are they gathering at? That one reinforcement pad has supplied a completely legit group of Humvees. Neo does not notice. Maybe he prefers to keep them there for defense. So are they building more economy? What are they working on? More air forces, more airfields. It looks like Neo would like to wipe Pcap off the face of the earth using just Auroras.
Let's kick up some dirt.
Targeting Jack instead. Maybe deciding that 3 versus 2 aren't good enough odds for them. It looks like for this game, it looks like what Galadriel said. That bottom team has but to reach out their hand and take it, and the victory shall be theirs. This was the 4th game of the night.
I'll puncture the next thing that moves. Let's kick up some dirt. Puncture the next thing that moves.
Taking out buildings one at a time.
Marauder tank assemble. I'll puncture the next thing that moves. Let's kick up some dirt.
So at this point, you gotta wonder if Pcap and Jack are thinking that they can win and putting their all into it, or if they're just still waiting around to lose. They are getting pummeled by bombs. But they haven't seen an army in a few minutes yet, so it's hard to know where their morale is at this point. Skippy brings in his overlords. That new cannon is going to do some good damage to this army. 2 overlords and a new cannon left. That will do some damage. Just those 3 troops. They're right there. With all those arms dealers, the defenses get replenished pretty quick.
Let's kick up some dirt.
Okay, this time Neo includes Humvees. No tow missiles on them. But that'll be a good mixture in with the rest of his army. Nuke Cannon's going to try to run away. Skippy likes it being fully upgraded, but it's not going to make it. Rob finally has another army there.
I'll puncture the next thing that moves. I'll puncture the next thing that moves. I'll puncture the next thing that moves. I'll puncture the next.
Pretty quiet, except for all the bombs being dropped. But with Pcap being GLA, his buildings are going to repair themselves. He also has the upgrade where his buildings have better armor. That's going to keep him pretty well protected against all of these bomb drops. There's Rob's 8th army. And Pcap's 25th army coming in to defend. That is just a crazy amount of planes from Jack. I guess we found out what he's been working on. There must be, yep, 3 airfields in the back. 4. Okay, so he wasn't building war factories, he was building airfields. He prefers to defend by the air. Kind of gotta wish that that had come in a minute earlier. That one as well. They've got a lot of firepower, and they keep on throwing it just at this one top level of the map that's left unconquered, but you kind of wish that they could plan it all out at the same time. That nuke would have gone really well right ahead of Rob's army. Alright, looking at money now. Skippy, I don't know if he ever did make more hackers. He's got a few. He's got a few now. He's got the internet center up and running, so he does. He does have more hackers now. Pcap, massive amount of money. Rob, I mean, managing it pretty well. Everything's gone. Neo, just so much money. Focusing on the airfields now, but even that strike wasn't enough to take one out. So this army is waiting down here. I wonder if they're trying to coordinate with something else. Let's see if they coordinate with some sort of missile strike. All of those Avengers, and they can't defend against these planes. They're not quite in the position to defend those Humvees up front. Now the Humvees have tow missiles, and that might be one of the things that Neo is waiting for. Those Neo's got Avengers, Humvees, and Tomahawks. Pretty well-rounded army there. That one could be really effective. And buggies. That's something else that Neo's been working on now. He stole, or he captured, that bottom GLA supply. And he used the workers to create a GLA army, along with his USA army. All GLA units are going to be made twice as fast. Again, Skippy pushing at a different spot than Neo, which means Pcap has to defend at 2 places at once, I guess, is the upside of that. Yeah, those buggies are running in a little close. Most of the group decimated, but a large group of Tomahawks coming up behind. Skippy with 8 Battle Masters. Gonna have a hard time against these buggies unless they can close the gap. And they do. But the Marauders and Angry Mob clear out the rest of those, but while Pcap was looking over here, Neo was looking over on this side. He's continuing to push in. It does feel like this is finally going to be the end. It looks as if Skippy and Neo here are going to be able to put some real hurt on Pcap's base. Drive in there a little further ways. Pcap able to triangulate against this army, so he can get in against those tomahawks in the back. Still doing what he can. Pcap hasn't given up yet. Particle uplink cannon taken out just a few more. These are all going to rebuild if given the time. I don't know if those tomahawks are going to make it up that direction. But still with plenty left. There's the command center. There it is. You've been pushing for this for a long time. You're finally here. So, Neo, tons of money, more than he could ever possibly hope to spend. Jack, a good chunk as well. Rob doing a good job of managing it, and you can see just how fast it's going up. Pcap is going up pretty quick as well. Not as fast as it would have a couple minutes ago. Skippy, it's increasing quite a bit, pretty rapidly as well, so he's managing those resources well as well. There's the GLA army that Neo wanted to bring in. So, looking again at the bases. Neo, tons of defenses, tons of economy. There's the arms dealers that he created, coming over from this side. There's some black markets, too, because he needs those. Line of defenses, so many. So many supply drop zones. Skippy? I honestly don't know where Skippy's base is because Neo's has swallowed him. This is something that's distinctly Skippy's. Even coming all the way up to Rob's base over here. This is the mixture that Joe needed. This right here. The Avengers and Tomahawks worked better than expected, really, but just to get a little bit more armor up front was really the ticket, I think. And I don't see any new armies coming from Pcap. Maybe they're concentrated over here on Skippy. Maybe they're distracted over here on Rob. And I don't think Jack was defeated. I think he surrendered. So we'll see how much longer before Pcap surrenders as well. He's fighting to the bitter end here. I see buggies popping out of tunnels. I see infantry coming up. I see angry mobs going after these overlords. They don't get roasted first by the inferno cannons. Yep, there they go. He might just make them take out every single building. I said earlier, this was the 4th game of the night, so there's got to be fatigue set in, but oh, there it goes. Pcap finally conceded the game. That was a slobber knocker. I didn't get the chance to take one more look at Rob's base on the north side, but I have a feeling there was a lot of hackers, a lot of Gatling cannons. So, looking at these stats, I mean, that's exactly what I would expect from Neo. Supplies collected, over 1 million. Last time I played on this map, Neo collected just over 1 million, and I thought that was the longest game that I had ever been a part of, and I was amazed that he got to 1 million. Here, he eclipsed it by a 4th again, 1,278,000. Pcap doing really well behind that, but half as much as Neo. Just crazy when you think about it. Look at all those buildings destroyed. Neo with 70. takes the cake. Rob with 65. Pcap with 13. I have to believe that a lot of those were right at the beginning of the game when he was able to sneak past Neo's defenses with that tunnel and get multiple incursions into Neo's base. He made the decision to go for Skippy's base as well. Might have been a better bet to make another run at Neo's base and try to finish that one off, but I guess like I said earlier, Neo did have the corner as well, so it's not like he would have been taking him out of the match. Rob with tons of buildings destroyed as well. Skippy with a good share, and looking over at units destroyed. Those are astronomical numbers. Those are just massive numbers. Pcap 411. No, Rob takes the first spot with 440, and units created goes to Pcap. He had, I think we counted 6 arms dealers pumping out units, and then he had made multiple barracks as well. We saw angry mobs coming out of those. So this game ended about an hour in. That was an hour-long game for the 4th game of the night. Each of these guys are done now. They call it a night after this. But congratulations to the South team of Rob, Skippy, and Neo. And we will catch you next time for another replay.